ask whatever you have in your mind.
Okay, so now, in a situation, okay, since we already stated that risks are incalculable. So in a situation where it's a highly volatile area, how do you properly prepare for incalculable risks?
When we come to a country which is very volatile, as I say, I've been in Sudan when things were very hot, right? I've been in Yemen where the bombs are dropped every single day, right? So we collaborate first with the host government, as I said, and we put measures in place. We calculated where are these people going to bomb, because normally UN is neutral. No insurgents is supposed to bomb the UN, right? So we have a way of communicating with those insurgencies. For example, in Yemen, before I allow UN staff to move or UN flight to land in Sana'a, I have to communicate with Saudi. I have to communicate with insurgencies, which are the Houthis, and I have to communicate with the government. So all these people, they will sit together wherever they sit, and they will give me a window that at 11 sharp, this flight has to land. 10 minutes later, you are late. So those are what we do. All right? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. So my question is general. My name is Victor. My question is general. And the question goes like this. Looking at the complexity and the dynamics of international system in terms of clash of interest, particularly among the superpowers, what are the pragmatic measures these specialized agencies take to ensure its interest prevails regardless of the interest of these superpowers?
Like I said, we will answer to the best of our ability. For us, in UN, we are neutral. You understand? So our job is to support those who need our help. But also UN, yes, works with the different nations to ensure that there is peace and also the negotiations. So, like he said, he acknowledged that it's very complex. Everything is complex. Negotiations are going on. But we always want to remind people that we are the voice of reason, where we support any human being where they are, regardless of their beliefs, regardless of their affiliations, nationality, religion, whatever it is. So some of these things maybe we are not able to answer to a best of our ability, but for us we always want to be on the side whereby every human being is treated equal. For us, every human being is equal, and every human being has a right to shelter, right to food, right to be human. And that's why you see us, sometimes we are on the side where there is conflict, that we want, like Martha said, that we need access to be able to reach people regardless of who they are. So we are neutral, and that's why maybe the job for UN is not for everyone. In order to work for UN, you have to be able to be neutral, to put aside your sentiments, to put aside your beliefs, and look at the human being, regardless of who she is. As long as she needs support, we'll be there. So I think that's how it is.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeffrey. My question will be for the World Health Organization. In 2014, Russia placed a ban on Russia placed a ban on GMO seeds, and currently now these seeds are being flowed into Africa through the Bill Gates Foundation. So I would like to know how the World Organization can guarantee the safety of these seeds if they are being banned in Russia and some other European countries.
Very much for this question. And like you said, WHO tried to shape the agenda, the research agenda. So GM foods are being subjected to a lot of research, and I'm sure those that have been allowed to be released in any country must have gone through some certification before they are released. And Russia banning them, you know, every country has their policies. And as UN, we told you we support what the government is in for. We give them the best of advice, but we do not have the right to ask the government to decide on what they want, to stop the government on whatever decision they make. We will still be in the ground researching on those GMO foods. And if there are any that are not safe, and I'm sure, I can guarantee you, WHO will speak out. That's just what I want to let you know. Because it's a way of guaranteeing food security, and it's an area that most of us should try to read about. Look at what are the current discourse, and then make your decision. But as a nation, we do not have the right to stop the government if they decide to go for GMO or not. I hope I answered your question. Are you okay? Yes, thank you.
There is this feeling of insecurity among the third world countries as far as some of these either drugs or GMO materials coming into this part of the world. There is this discomfort and suspicion among third world countries that they are targeted at some ulterior motive. I don't know if there is any role World Health is playing to actually demystify this belief and mindset among Africans. There are hidden fears about the motive and what it stands to deliver at the end of the day. Can you assuage this fear for us based on the role of the WHO over these issues? Thank you.
Right. Once again, thank you very much. Like you said, a lot of suspicion. If somebody brings something to you free, you are suspicious that it's about to kill you. And there's a lot of propaganda, a lot of you understand, going around the world. That I will not be the one to add my voice to those. Those are highly political things. And as WHO, as UN, like she said, we try to be as neutral as possible. We are apolitical, we have no party, you understand? And for government, we give advice based on research. And you know, research and evidence is always evolving. So you try as much as possible to produce the most available evidence with your facts. Then when it comes to the area of conflicts and things that need to deal with government, these are more of security things than health issues. So these are not areas that the WHO has authority to talk about. We try to do what is more about health, advocacy for better health, advocacy for better policies that will impact health. You understand? Advocacy for better evidence that gives better results. And like you said, in the areas of, even a lot of, even the vaccinations we give, there's a lot of anti-vax campaign against it. But there's evidence that these vaccines work. We've seen the reduction in the burden of disease. We know how devastating measles used to be. We know how much polio has crippled the world. We know that smallpox has been eradicated, and we are still searching for cases. And you saw the recent development with Ebola. So this is what we focus our energy on. And we try to ensure that we reach every nook and cranny. We make sure the underserved, wherever they are reached. You understand? Gender, like the gender lens, is always pierced through anything that we do, so that we don't see women being marginalized. So we try to create a world that helps of everybody, which is the best attainable level. This is mostly our mission, and that's what we strive to do. But for political things, when we have information, we give the information, and then we dialogue. But we do not have the right to
for countries to make their decisions. Do you understand? If a country wants to go for GMO foods, they have done their research and they must have looked at where it benefits their country. But it will not be because the WHO advised them to go for GMO food. I don't think that will be the reason for the choice. Please, I hope I'm clear.
Good day once again. My question also goes to the WHO. What roles does the WHO take to ensure the safety of individuals, most especially with the issue related to mRNA vaccines, which has proven to present new threats such as transhumanization? Now, in recent times, we have seen that the issue of transhumanization has been one of the issues plaguing the news, one of the issues we find mostly in the news. And under the United Nations, on the United States law, it is said that transhumans do not have the capacity to subscribe to international and national law. So, what rules does the WHO take to mitigate these things? Because we have found time and time number that they have nanoparticles which are self-assembling, self-replicating, and as well feed on tissues of individuals and groups, which in most cases make them transhuman, and as a result they are considered non-human, so they do not actually fit into the category of humans which actually enjoy international law. So,
vaccine production is a very big field. You understand? And every day there are always innovation. Our recent experience with mRNA vaccine is a COVID vaccine. And it doesn't mean that it's a new technology. No, it's a technology that has been there, being developed, but at the time COVID came, it was the right technology to be able to produce a vaccine that could save the world. Did you remember what COVID did to the world? It shut down the world. Isn't it? We were not able to travel. Some businesses up to today have not recovered because of COVID. You understand? We lost great world leaders, a lot of people. So the world needed something to stop that tragedy. And that was why they used, that vaccine was not developed as people say within 1 year. The mRNA vaccine is a technology that is not only used for vaccine, they also use it for production of drugs and the rest. And you know we have a very strong force, the anti-vax. There is no vaccine that they do not, that they are not against. And they will give, I think you saw I don't know whether some of you were wise enough then. You saw when they gave COVID vaccine, somebody put coin and kobo there and said that, the vaccine stopped because the vaccine had magnet. Do you understand what I'm talking about? So, I'm not telling you that vaccines do not have their side effects, or they do not have, I'm not a specialist in vaccine production, but I can tell you that before any vaccine is released, it is only released after it is safe to be given. And whether we believe it or not, the mRNA vaccine that was used to combat COVID has added a lot of value to our lives today. Not for the vaccine, many of us will not be able to open our businesses today. And up till now, if you travel, you must still take the COVID vaccine. I'm sure those of you that have traveled have seen that you must take the vaccine, isn't it? And there are other choices. So we will not go into the politics of whether we are going to make transhumans or that is a research topic and something that I need to go and read and be very vast about the fact I can come and answer. But as far as these vaccines have been produced, that we have used, they are safe, and we have not seen any transhuman effects so far in those that have taken the Moderna vaccine so far, and a lot of Nigerians took it. You understand? So it is just a technology for manufacturing vaccine that depends on re-engineering the DNA and RNA, but it has got nothing to do with what they say enters your DNA and changes your blueprint and this. That is yet to be proved. Do you understand? It's yet to be proved. So let's read along what we want. We always read the pros and the cons of anything that we take. Any drug you swallow, has some. When we give the injection, in some places it swells, it pains, but it goes, isn't it? And you get protected from having COVID. How many of you have been vaccinated for COVID? Not many of you. Most of you have not been vaccinated. Then ask me that. You know why I say that? Because this year we have another outbreak of COVID that is ongoing at the moment. There are new cases. You understand? So we stay on the side of what is safe for you, what will keep you healthy, and how you can have access to it. So if we have not been vaccinated, it's also a sign that we are also a chance in my. Thank you.
I'd like to ask a question on migration. So the speaker on migration only focused on Nigeria, but I would like her to throw a very specific light on Indian migrants. So I would like her to answer questions like, what are the challenges that Indian migrants encounter in Britain? And also, what are the government policies in Britain that either mitigate or exacerbate the encounter faced by migrants in Britain? And also, what are the ways to mitigate systemic racism in Britain as it relates to migrants, specifically Indian migrants? Thank you.
Well, thank you for that question. It seems like it's one of your theses, isn't it? It seems you are writing on it. Well, I will say I don't have much knowledge on it because that is not my field. You understand? So if it's my field, I'll be able to answer that. But regarding Nigerians, I will be able to answer a bit of what the migration is all about Nigerians. But for Indians, sorry, I don't have that knowledge. Thank you. On challenges that migrants in general face when going to the economy. Okay, this one is a very safety is one. Two, you have to have the right contact. The right contact in the way that things are happening in Nigerians. Like a lot of us want to move after school. We meet a lot of scammers, which even in the internet now they are doing it. Someone can tell you, don't worry, I can take you to Canada, you just have to pay a little change and others. So we need to look out for that, because some of them are what? Traffickers. Because now they have what they call harvesting, human harvesting. People who are being trafficked, you see them, one of their kidney is missing, or their liver, they use them for that. So we also have to be very careful. And who is processing our papers in terms of the Nigerian immigration? We have to be careful that we go to the right office for it. In terms of our passport, because some people can do a fake passport for you. When you travel to that country, you become a victim. A lot have faced that. To the extent they are stranded. In fact, some of them are being deported back. And some were forced to work for the money before they come back. And that is what is happening across the globe. So we should also be careful with relatives. Some of our relatives too are victims, they are actors. Some will come from abroad and tell you that, don't worry, I'm going to take your child to this. Reaching there, what do they promise your papa and your mama? Nobody even see for them. It will shock you, say they'll tell you when you go to prostitution or sleeping dog. All the men, they will carry one old woman and go to make it help her. So the things that is happening, no, it's true, it's a fact. I have to be blunt because it's something I see every day and I weep for young men and women who are eager, desperate. Please wait for your time before you travel out. Thank you.
My question goes like this. Just like the saying that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step, I want to ask this question specifically to in UNICEF, how can individuals such as myself, young ladies like I, and then even the male gender, how can we volunteer or intern with UNICEF to make a difference?
Thank you. So there are many avenues, like if you go to the UNICEF website on how you can make a contribution. But I know, but I'll give you my advice as your sister. Like sometimes you have to know what you want, then plan and get the right qualifications. Yeah, so here you have a degree, right? Yeah, so you look at the areas of UNICEF. Like I said, we have protection, we have health, we have education, we have many things. But look at that one, we have communication like media and relations. So just look at we have UNV, United Nations Volunteers. We have UNV Nigeria. But also there are some things you can do also to volunteer. For me, before I joined UN, I started at my local community. If you have a mosque, you have a church, you have whatever, it doesn't just come like that. So for you and people who are working with UN, when you look back, you don't just jump into UN. They started small, with their own. There are people who help people in your own way, from your home, from your neighbors. Like you have, like I said, you have mosques where they are doing volunteer. You have churches where they are doing volunteer. You can start there. You start learning from there, or you for doing your own things, because this is a humanitarian work. But also, it's not enough to have the right heart or the right intentions. Qualifications is very important. So I encourage you, while you have a chance, take an opportunity to do the right qualifications. And I encourage you to do, like, depending on what you want to do. I see people doing a lot of development courses from NDA. So you have to have that. You have to see the end from now. Like, if I want to work there, they need these qualifications. And also it has to be the job that makes you happy. At the end of the day, I know we need money, but also at the end of the day, you need to do something you like. You feel like you are making a difference. So look at what makes you happy, what makes you tick. I know in Africa, during our days, we didn't have a chance even to decide the course. It was like a quota system. You medicine, you engineer, but now you guys have a chance to choose. So look at what they are doing. You see yourself where you want to go. Prepare yourself. Do the right course, but start today. You don't need to be with the UN to help people. Seriously. This is what I really want to say. You have to start today. Do you care when you see these children in the street begging? If you see Almajiri who need help, how do you feel? When you see poor people, older people, or young people, your colleague who needs help, you today, those who are in boarding school now, not like you. I was in boarding school. I could afford to have 3 bars of soap, but I had people who couldn't afford 1 bar of soap. So I shared. So these are the things that check your intentions. You can start now, today, from your neighbor, from your whatever. Then do the courses and also start applying. I think you have they can get from first degree, right? Yeah, from first degree you start applying. UNV Nigeria has been advertising. Just put your thing there, prepare your CV well, ask people how to write a covering letter. How do I prepare my CV? All this voluntary work you are doing, put them there. And I see in Nigeria or Kaduna, you have a lot of avenues. Instead of sitting home and watching TikTok at home, do voluntary work in your communities, in your areas. And this one, you will start learning about how to reach other people. Yeah, because you have to have that, otherwise you find the job very difficult. Because some of these things we do, you have to go through. Like tonight I was talking about Yemen. I was working in Bono when no one could go, you know. It was too dangerous. People thought you are crazy to work there. So it's something in you has to be there for you to enjoy the work and whatever. And you leave the rest to God, but prepare yourself well. Ask people. These days, you are way out, AI. You ask AI to give you a good CV, you can do it. You can ask colleagues. Yeah. You have orphan area, go and do something. Don't wait. Thank you.
My name is Banda Dorcas. So my first question is directed to Dr. Idris. Sir, as captured in your speech, you said UNICEF is neutral, particularly to the issue of children. So I just want to ask, what measures have UNICEF taken towards the well-being of children, particularly to the issue of climate change? Then, my second question is directed to the UNDSS official. You said in your speech, you said any UNDSS official that is being attacked, the UNO will question the particular government, and then the particular government will have to answer. So, are there penalties for this particular government, and what conditions or grounds are these penalties being given? Then, my last question: what efforts is the IOM taking to protect vulnerable groups like children and elderly, particularly because of the fact that they are being affected by climate change? What effort are they taking to protect them towards climate-induced conflicts? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think this is more like a dissertation on this one, probably. Okay. Maybe you are the A student, eh? Those ones that are up there, and hard. I can feel that. So thank you very much. Just like I've said, when it comes to children, we are never neutral. We don't give them a blind eye. We don't close our eyes to the issue of children. And climate change is one of them. And you're right to say that if that is one thing that UNICEF is really doing a lot about. You remember I told you about we influence. And now what we influence is the first thing that came to UNICEF mind when it comes to climate change. We don't want to hand over a world that is not the future of children, because we're looking ahead. So how does the world look like now? And how do you envisage the world to look like in the near future? UNICEF is already beginning to think along that and influence what the adults of today do, begin how it impacts the future of the children ahead. One of them is the issue of if you look at carbon emission. UNICEF has been very, very vocal and strong in terms of carbon emission, containing carbon emission, because it impacts on health, and especially the health of children. Because climate change has its own tell on the health of people. So our major preoccupation is how do we see climate change moving forward. And carbon emission is one area that UNICEF has been very vocal in terms of ensuring that whatever we do today is of less consequential in terms of negativity to the health of our children moving forward. If you look at conflicts and wars, most of these conflicts and wars that are happening now are consequences of climate change. Because people are becoming hungry, people need food. So the issue of GMO that we were talking about, why are we thinking along this kind of lines? We're looking at food security. Now for UNICEF, remember the chief spoke about, well, one area that we work out strong is nutrition. We're very strong in nutrition. So for UNICEF, food security is one area that has an impact on our life moving forward, and today's world, in terms of climate change, has a negative tell on the food security of the nation. UNICEF is influencing what we do today in terms of agricultural output that will impact the future of our children moving forward, including how much of money we budget as a government around education, around nutrition and food security, around health. So this has to do with what evidence, what the professor spoke about, evidence. What evidence do UNICEF have that will put to the table before government around climate change to do with food security, to do with carbon emission around health, to do with conflicts and whatever may follow that. If you remember, if you look at how wars do happen, they happen because of vested interests. And what are those interests? Some of them have to do with climate change. The world is becoming too small for the large population of people. How are we looking at family planning? How are we containing our population, the population dynamics? This has to do with the more the people, the more heat we emit, and the more the effect on the climate. So UNICEF is working with UNDP to ensure that population dynamics are always on the agenda of government. I think that's some of the things we do. Since you're a dissertation student, we can discuss that more and see how we can give you a dissertation more material that you can work with. Thank you very much.
Their child to your house, right? Mm-hmm. Your neighbor. Okay, neighbor, I'm going to the market. Can you take care of my child? You say yes. When you accept, what do you supposed to do to that child? Huh? Take care of the child. Secure the child. So, how many member states does the United Nations have? Huh? $193, $194, $193. Okay. You need to go back and check, right? So, what it means for UN to be in your country, because UN is in each and every country as long as we have development or humanitarian support in that country, right? So, since we are going to our member states, it's a neighbor's child being entrusted in your hand. Huh? You want this child to go back home as she come or as he come, safely, right? So you ask what penalty? There may not be a penalty, but if your country, UN came there, and something happened to the UN in your country, what do you lose as a country? Right now, as a Nigerian. Huh? Sometimes ago, UN House was bombed in Abuja. What does that speak of the country? Huh? What does that speak of your country? What other effects can happen when that happens to international organizations? You are not going to be trusted by international organizations, embassies, and whatnot. And once the embassy say to their citizens, do not go to Nigeria, who is affected? In what sector? So there's no tourists coming to Nigeria. There's no visitors coming to Nigeria. You're going to be as a, how do you call isolated, yeah? You're going to be an island. Can you live as an island? Can Nigeria live alone as Nigeria? Can you sustain yourself as a Nigerian? You're international student, international relations students. Those are your areas. Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Abigail Uzioma, and my question is, what are the measures taken by UNICEF to address child protection in conflict areas such as Gaza Strip and other parts of Israel? Okay. What are the measures taken by UNICEF to address child protection in conflict areas such as Gaza Strip and other parts of Israel?
UNICEF really works very hard in the conflict area. In fact, my friend is in charge of Gaza, and they are there on the ground, hiding under the table in the bombing. So we are doing everything possible, and UNICEF, I think, has been speaking. If you follow the international organizations, we record grave violations, not only for Palestine. We are recording grave violations against children, and Nigeria happen to be on the top 5. Grave violations against children doesn't mean that only the government. It's also like what is happening, what happened in Kuriga, what is happening in Bono, what happened, like children being targeted and killed by armed attackers. So we are really working with the government and the non-government actors to ensure that the rights of children are protected. And that's why when you see any reports, they say they killed this number of people, including women and children. Because we know that among those ones, these have nothing, most of the time in the war, those who are affected have nothing to do with the conflict. I've been tracking the kidnapping, for example, in Kaduna, for example. The data which was produced by the government shows that 75–20% of the victims of abductions are women and children. So we saw the Kuriga situation. UNICEF was the first to speak. We went to Kuriga and we went to the government to ensure that people were supported, and also we campaigned for the release. So Yeah, we are working in that way, and like Martha said, it's up to the government to ensure that children and the most vulnerable people of the society are protected. And that's what we do to ensure that there is protection of children and women. But like I said, we work with the government to ensure that this is being done. Yeah. Yeah, we play a supportive role, and we work with the government. And the Nigerian government has been very supportive and very receptive. We work with them very closely because we don't implement directly. It is the government that is implementing.
Hey everybody, my name is Obiora Adivai. One of the main core principles of the IOM is protection, especially for returning migrants. So, in looking at the Russian-Ukraine conflict now, you can see clips of people crying as they want to actually come back to their own country. So, what are the roles that we played and the efforts made by the IOM in helping these migrants in Ukraine to actually come back, and especially students that are schooling in Ukraine? What have they done to help these students come back to their home country?
Of course, we like this IOM. So if you can't work for IOM, I will understand what IOM means. For the issue of Ukraine and Russia, we just can't move people like that. Countries have to come in agreement. Okay, for instance, if we want to move people who are stranded, they want to go back to their country, because I know a lot of Nigerians who are still in Ukraine, trying for Nigerians to support. I think the Nigerian diaspora has been trying all their means to see they work hand in hand with the country itself, to see where we can be able to bring them. Because we need to work and agree with the other country that before we move to this people. Now, moving these people, we need to agree, okay, if we want to move these people from point A to B, will point B accept these people for the meantime before they will be dispatched to various countries? So if they agree, that is when IOM comes in to help migrate these people to the nearby country for safety before their other various countries comes to pick their own people out. Like Nigerians, they have picked some of the students that are stranded, they are now back in Nigeria.
Advocate, you understand? We pressure groups that will allow what is the best evidence to be put to use. That's our strength. And we are apolitical. And everything we do, we try to do it in civility. Isn't it? Not democratically, but we try to be very, very, very objective. Do you understand? We are not guided by sentiments. We are guided by evidence and what works best. And then we put everybody's interest. Our slogan is to reach all, isn't it? With health, without discrimination, isn't it? That's what we stand for, and that's what we continue to stand for. Thank you.
Please let's make welcome Dr. Gimba for her question.
Good afternoon, all. And to our August visitors, you're welcome. I want to first of all say thank God for this wonderful and auspicious day, for God making it a reality, because I think in the department, the HOD knows what he has gone through to make this day a reality. And we want to say thank you to all of you for availing yourselves to make this day a reality. My question is on the IOM, is for the IOM representative. I don't know, in your presentation, you made mention of the illegal migration. You made mention that a lot of people, if the students have heard about illegal migration and a lot of people dying, I don't know, in a nutshell, can you please explain to these students why we have a lot of, or we have recorded a lot of deaths during this illegal migration, and why are people migrating illegally, not legally? Can you just explain to them? Thank you.
Thank you very much for that question. I will use Nigeria as a case study. Years back,
we have a lot of people who have been traveling across the globe from Nigeria. Thank God, the last speaker said we should be proud of what our country. I'm proud of Nigeria. Reason why is that even if a Igbo man creates something, Nigerian man will break it. Not true, I'm not lying. Alright. So now, reasons why there are illegal migrations. If you look at the situation of Nigeria today, what comes to your mind? We have poverty. Some are looking for jobs so that they can provide food for their family. Some want to go show, when they go get something, come back, don't tell their people, say I don't arrive. Like go hear your over carry 18 million or 29 million can come. And I don't ask her how you take it out. Another thing is that our border is porous. People nowadays don't go through the proper channel because of what? Because of the protocols. You go straight. Before you get, when you get admission, waiting follow. They will give you a list of things on a go do. Before you go do all those things, you never tire. So that's so to get the right channel be. Now the illegal one is a shortcut which everybody loves. We like shortcuts. I get these agents because I'm glad that I'm a part of a team that conducts a survey on potential migrants. In Nigeria, we have a border, sharing border with Kaduna. I think Niger share border with Kaduna. We have Sokoto. We have Kano. We have Lagos too. We have border that people passes through. So now people doesn't go through the normal process of getting a visa, the normal documentation and others. But now they can go through Ilela, Sokoto. There's a border. You can get an agent that tell you, don't worry. In 2 weeks' time, you get to Europe. All you need to do is, this is the amount of money. Maybe he's charging you 500,000. He will do your papers for you. He will do your passport for you. And believe me, if you check very well, those passports are fake. Your particulars, things that you use, your document which you're supposed to use to present in that country is even fake. So now, they are not going through the normal route because they have a transit route in this point where they hire people, like for the case study of Sokoto. The agent will come, do everything for you, and the night will tell you, okay, in this particular time, date, we are leaving. A bike man will come and pick you. This man will travel with you through the desert, 4 to 6 hours on top bike. He's following inside bush. When you don't know what will happen there inside, you go travel, because I have done that when I was trying to investigate the reason why people travel. Me and my colleagues on a bike, we spent 6 hours traveling inside Niger, trying to understand the routes these people are following. That one will stop. When they get to this particular point, they meet another agent that will take them to Libya. Now they are going to use either vehicle, because in these normal cows, they transport their goods. So they smuggle you inside these cars. Because once customs cited them, they arrest such people. So they will smuggle you inside cars and transport you out of Libya. Then when you get to the Mediterranean Sea, that is when you begin to use boats, small canoes. You see them, they'll tie them like sardines inside ship, inside boats. And in the middle of not everybody that knows how to swim. Before you know, the ship will do what? Who will survive? Now people wait service swim and survive. You want to know service swimming for? So is that the channel that you want to follow? happening. There are so many routes we are exposed that we Nigerians need to be careful with people who will come in contact that want to help us to travel out. That was why I was emphasizing, make sure you have your right documents, your passport, your visa, make sure everything is intact. So that if you want enter inside a country, you go walk out with your full chest. You know, go like this way they hide. You raise your shoulder up, you see Nigeria don't land. So if you go and talk to you, you will say yes. You get full confidence because your particulars are intact. For this last speaker that asked me why UK decided to deploy people to Rwanda, I never finished my own country. The people have gone to Rwanda. Okay. The reason is it's part of the migration policy. Aiming at just illegal migration. That's why I'm saying it. Why they deploy them? Each one is to curtail counter-trafficking. Some people go tell you, say, we won't go Rwanda, we won't go Rwanda. Their motives are different. Some people want to go and look for job, but some that don't go to prostitution with some people. Some will go to modern slavery, they call them now. They'll go to domestic work. That is why you see they are very keen and strict when they are born. They are also checking processing and settlement, because before they deploy you, you must have to go through some processes of asylum to claim an asylum. And once your asylum has been processed, then and granted, that is when they will allow you to settle in Rwanda. Nobody said they just push you like that. You have to follow some steps before you get there. Now they are trying to also reduce the pressure of asylum. Everybody wants to seek asylum. Everybody wants to seek asylum. If you seek asylum, everybody seek asylum, who will come remember? So the workload is much on the government. So they are trying to control people that will settle in Rwanda. It's not that they just carry them, go dump them. No. They just carry them just to checkmate one or two things. Because now, I feel tell you, say, I won't go to asylum. My mission now, I get 20 girls who are all small things that the government are trying to check. Thank you. Thank you.
Bigger clap of very rewarding session with our visitors, and I think you can attest to that. I want to request the pleasure of the HOD to come and give his closing remarks so that we can move on.
I stand some protocol to be candid and to be sincere today. I am highly excited and delighted, and I know you students, you are also equally delighted and excited being invited the UN into our midst. Before we organize what we call UN Mock Summit, whereby some of our students, reflected what is obtainable in UN General Assembly, to portray what is, from the theory to practical. But today you have seen the practical aspect from the staff of UN, that they came here before you and presented what they are doing, and at least you get some kind of knowledge that is value added to your intellectual as well as psychomotor domain. Similarly, this is like your field trip and beyond field trip, because there is an interactive session whereby they create a window for you to ask some questions. I was very, very interested with one particular question, which most of you, I know, your mindset is toward that question. How I am going to work with you? Me, I am not interested to work with UN. I'm interested for UN to recognize my contribution than to work with UN. You understand? If UN recognize my contribution, I know I am bigger than even the staff of UN. The UN may oblige to give you a recognition as far as you have, a kind of humanitarian, support offered to humanity. You understand? Let me give you a scenario. Professor Matai Wangara from Kenya, through her desertification project, where she planted over 1 million trees in Kenya against desertification, she got, a kind of recognition from UN, and she was being even appointed and giving her an award as a, Nobel Prize for Peace in the world. Likewise, Malala Yousafzai, a Pakistani girl, which was being recognized by UN through her NGO on, educating youth, especially ladies and girls, for education. They invited her and given her parents to UN, and they recognized her and awarded her an award from UN. Why? Because of her contribution. Now I think that is what UN, that is what UN wants. Not you to go to UN and work as a UN diplomat. Work something, do something that UN will recognize you, and the UN will even invite you and award you as a result of what you have done in touching the life of humanity positively. That is what they want. You understand? And similarly, like those people that they have a syndrome of quick money syndrome. That is why we have this issue of brain drain, we have this issue of illegal migration. Please endeavor to at least appreciate what you have in your country, what you are doing in your nation, in your community. Then you will start thinking, what can I do? You understand, my people? If you recall the speech of John F. Kennedy when he assumed duty as the President of the United States of America, he said, we should not recognize what our country offers to us. We should think of what we can do for our country. Now, what you have done to your community, to your nation, and to the world at large, I am really appreciative with the entire team of UN. I am highly delighted. May God Almighty bless you abundantly. I wish you all the best in all your ramifications. Also, our students, they are highly enthusiastic in research. Please, the window is open for you. They also motivate you to get, in touch in research. Similarly, we too, in the Department of International Relations, we are going to partner with you, especially if there is a window for research and development, so that we can aid UN, and also UN will see our own impact to you. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best for your work.
They're waiting for us to give us our food. Yes, of course. I said Hi.
Hi, my friend. Hi, guys. I'm so tired. So I'll go forward. Let me show them my dress. See my face. So beautiful, right?
For this video, I hope you enjoyed watching. Well, normally I would have trimmed the video since it's a bit too long, but because we finally students were asked to make a report on that video, so my classmates are actually waiting for this video so that they can use it to refer back to it and then make their report. That's why it's this lengthy. And well, I hope you guys learned one or two. For those planning to apply for IR, this is just beneficial to you guys. And I'll see you guys in my next video. If you haven't subscribed, please press that subscribe button, like, share, and also drop a comment. Thank you.